today's episode of Easy Publishing to the Central Repository, we're going to figure out what this POM validation here that we failed is about when it talks about that the description is missing, the URL are missing, license information is missing, and so on. So we are going to make sure that we supply all the correct metadata that's required with our project to the deployment, and we get this rule to pass. Back over here in the IDE, you see my POM.xml, and you see that it only has the coordinates, the name, and the distribution management, and a few dependencies stuff, but nothing in terms of further metadata that was required, like description. So let's add that. Adding this required information in is pretty simple. We can just type up a little bit of a description. We add a URL here, in this case just the project URL to my organization on GitHub. I added a license, in this case I'm using the Apache license in this snippet here. I add a reference to the developer, myself, and I add the SCM information. And now we are already ready to test this again. So we can go into the OSSRH Nexus Repository Manager here, and the deployment attempts we had before, they are invalid, so we can drop them. So this staging repository gets dropped, and we can say we have to try again. These notifications, messages that you send here will actually be sent via email to whoever is registered with this account. In this case, it's just myself. So now we are ready to do another deployment. This time we kick it off on the command line. We do a maven deploy, and hopefully it will now fulfill and validate against the POM requirement. Here's the new staging repository, and we have to again close this repository to see if the rules are validated successfully this time. And here we see that a whole bunch of rules are still failing, but our POM validation is now passing. So our POM includes all the necessary metadata that is required. You can obviously put quite a bunch more metadata in it, and it is useful for your users to get more information. For example, you can add links to the issue management here on another project, and information about the organization or the inception year of the project, and various other things. But with what we've added into our demo project here, this is the minimal set. And in other tools, you would not edit this in the XML of a POM.xml, but you would that get generated by a different tool in some different markup, which would then in turn create the POM as required from it. And that's it. In our next episode, we're going to check out how we make these other rules.